I have some potentially upsetting news. Everything you know about street sharks is probably a goddamn lie. That's because it was made up by a writer for geek.com. Maybe. So one guy who is now, working as a professional, when he was a middle schooler, Jordan Minor, decided he would, do what middle schoolers do and fuck around on the internet. And to that, he went to the TV Tropes page. I used to go on not TV Tropes, TV Tome. I still go on TV Tropes because it exists.
Yes.
And it is mind-suckingly great. Anyway, TV Tome is where you could become an editor of a specific TV show. I guess it was a proto-television Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I remember it was really easy to become an editor of a page if it was like a show no one cared about. Like, I was the editor of Cosby Mysteries for a solid 2 years.
Wow.
And nobody stopped me, and I've never seen an episode of Cosby Mysteries.
My mother watched that for a short time.
Well, I didn't do anything to it.
Yeah.
I just said,
No,
I want the permissions, and I got them. And basically what happened to TV Tome, if you don't remember it, it's because it was absorbed by TV.com, and I believe that's under CBS Interactive. I could be wrong on that, though. Don't quote me on that very exciting quote. And basically everything he had written about street sharks, which, by the way, he made up entire episodes. He made up characters.
The characters that he made up a female street shark is hilarious.
And then people were saying things like, what happened to the episodes with the girl street shark? We want her, which is ironically the opposite of what happened with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which Street Sharks seems to be a ripoff of.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember Venus, the girl turtle?
Venus de Milo.
They've kind of erased into oblivion. This is a fake character that people want to bring into reality. So it's like a reverse switcheroo of Venus de Milo.
The Street Sharks is already so ridiculous. You don't have the sort of fanish, beholden to sacredness that some people have for Ninja Turtles, which they genuinely grew up on. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, no one grew up on Street Sharks as the cool thing.
It's like an obscure, I remember being a kid and watching cartoons all day, and I would keep watching the ones that...
When I was a kid.
No, all cartoons. I watch good cartoons now. But I would just sit there and watch
sure.
whatever came
because it was on and it was
pure
animated.
Garbage was coming on. I would watch. So I do remember some weird kind of, I don't even, just weird shapes and colors in my head. So, and I think that's a lot of ways that people feel, because people are fondly remembering these episodes that Jordan made up.
Yeah.
And they're fondly remembering Roxy, their favorite character. She's never been in a single episode, which speaks to kind of a nostalgic hysteria.
I mean, it's just funny how easily we can influence each other. Mm-hmm. And you can bring up this, or also, memories get merged in your head, and so maybe they're remembering a character from a different cartoon, but then they've associated it with Roxy. And oh yeah, I remember that, but they're just reabsorbing and redistributing things from a different show. And that was such a weird time when there were so many ripoffs coming out, because there was also Biker Mice from Mars.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Samurai Pizza Cats.
Pizza Cats. There are all these, and in the comics, they had pre-adolescent radioactive martial arts hamsters or something like that.
That sounds fake.
And no, it was a real thing, and they actually brought it back a few years ago. Dynamite brought it back a few years ago, and it was really funny.
Hell?
And it was really well done. But that was meant to be a satire, whereas Street Sharks and Biker Mice from Mars were really just someone saying
ripoffs.
Yeah, it was someone saying, well, people like those animals. Let's give them other animals that are cool. And say
radical.
They use slang.
Attitudes.
Yeah, it was Street Sharks was never good. No one grew up. I refuse to believe anyone grew up loving Street Sharks.
I mean, if you go look on the internet, it's kind of funny how people just kind of invented things or used half-remembered images in their heads to concoct something new together. And this is nothing new. I mean, there's also the Berenstain Bears paradox theory. I talked about this a little bit over the weekend on the Facebook page, but it was everybody thinks it's the Berenstain Bears, or most people do, rather. But then when you go look at the books, it says Berenstain.
Yeah, and I have those old books.
And they say that?
Yeah.
I want to find a copy that says Berenstain, which means it's from the other universe.
The other universe.
Before we crossed over. And
the other Night Vale.
I mean, Night Vale. Oh, I like to think about the idea of paradoxes and like different universes.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Hypertime.
The Mandela effect?
Oh, sure.
Exactly. And it's just probably more leaning toward our half-remembered Street Sharks episodes than we switched at some point with another parallel alternate universe.
I mean, that's been established in Doctor Who as well, that sometimes when you feel like you were at a party and then realized you couldn't have possibly been at that party, but you were sure you remembered being there, it's because at some point you were, but then the timeline got changed.
Or your mind is not exactly as sharp as you think it is. I mean, one of the two theories. You pick. It's up to you. Audience, is there any TV show that you kind of remember or you think you remember and then later found out that you were wrong? Let us know about that. I want to hear those stories in the comments. And please like and subscribe for more.